Yeah, just wait till I put some attachments on this bitch. Did you buy the new Call of Duty after taking multiple years off from COD, thinking you were gonna come back frying, kid, and now you're just getting absolutely fucking smoked? Just me? Well, whether you're a new player or you're an old player, I know you're tired of getting absolutely fucking dumpstered. So let's implement 3 COD tips that are gonna make your game instantly better. All right, now that that's out of the way, we're gonna get straight to it. I am not here to waste your time. Tip number 1 is crosshair centering. This is a term that if you're new to FPSs, you may not have heard before, and even if you're a seasoned vet, you may not be implementing correctly. When you're watching this gameplay in the background, I want you to look and see where my gun is aligned when I am not ADS. When I am not aiming down, what does my gun point at? If you look at that red dot on my screen, you'll see that I am aiming directly in the center at almost all times of the game. I'm not looking up while I'm running. I'm not looking down while I am running. I am in the middle, prepared for somebody to come into view so I can take those initial shots as soon as they enter my screen. I won't have to adjust my stick or adjust my mouse to the person's body before I start shooting. This is going to do 2 major things. 1, it is going to reduce the risk of you making any user error. It is very likely the more you move the stick, the more likely you are to make a mistake. If you reduce the amount you're moving your stick as close to 0 as possible, hopefully you'll also reduce the amount of shots you miss as close to 0 as possible. The second thing this is going to do is align you for hip-fire kills, which are extremely underutilized in Call of Duty. A lot of the times when you rewatch somebody who's newer to the game's gameplay, they ADS, they aim down their sight, and they try to track the person at very close range while ADS. You move significantly slower when you are aimed down. If somebody is right in your face, it's going to be almost impossible to keep them in the center of your screen and hit those shots on them. So as you're moving around the map, you should always be ready for somebody to appear in your line of sight, and the easiest way to do that is by centering your crosshair, keeping that aim directly in the center of your screen. Tip number 2, another aiming tip, is going to be recoil patterns and recoil management. This combined with the previous tip is going to make you infinitely better at hitting your shots, and that is going to be the main factor on getting those kills when you're playing. Even somebody that is extremely new to the game can definitely notice that the guns move when they are being fired. That's the point. If it stayed in a straight line, it wouldn't matter what gun you used, how far away you were. The entire game would be pointless. But there is a way to counteract it. Every gun in the game has a unique recoil pattern that is specific to that gun or that class of gun. If you go into a private match right now and you shoot the AK-74U against a wall while standing directly in front of it, you will see that the gun moves the same way every single time. Knowing the way that this gun specifically moves means that you can counteract it with your mouse or your right stick while you're shooting, and that pretty much negates the recoil. When you're watching your favorite streamer or Call of Duty content creator beam somebody from across the map and their gun isn't moving, it is very, very likely that they are just controlling the recoil of that gun. Okay, sometimes guns are broken, but in general, that is the content creator, the YouTuber, the pro controlling the recoil by pulling slightly against the way that the gun moves naturally, and that forces the gun to stay directly in the center with very little movement and lasers people across the map. Before we get into the last tip, I would really appreciate if you guys could leave a like on the video and possibly even a comment in the comment section down below. It really helps for the YouTube algorithm and getting this video seen by as many people as possible, and I would greatly appreciate it. Last but not least, tip number 3 is going to be working on your game sense. Now this tip right here, I hate to say it, might be the most important one on the list. You can have horrible aim, horrible recoil management, horrible guns, but if you know where the enemy is going to be coming from and you are already aiming down sights, you are very likely to get that kill. So let's break down what I mean when I say game sense. In its most basic explanation, it is understanding the game. If I do X, then Y and Z will happen. Example number 1, you're playing TDM and both teams start at their original spawns. If your entire team pushes to the enemy's original spawn point and gets kills, those enemies will then spawn at the opposite side of the map where you originally spawned. If you as a player can look at your minimap and see that your team is making this push, you can preemptively turn around and set yourself up in a position that you will be catching those enemies off of their next spawn instead of the original spawn. This sounds extremely simple if you've been playing Call of Duty for a while. You might be doing this naturally, but there are other ways that you can implement this that may not be as easy to figure out. For example, when playing Domination, the first thing everybody does after they get their original spawn flag is go straight to B flag. B flag is almost always the first stop for every player that plays Domination. Sometimes they even skip their original home flag to go straight to B. Using this information means that you can set yourself up in a position to catch them as they're rotating through that doorway, down that hallway, around that staircase. You will know exactly where they're coming from and when. And when is the most important part. When playing an objective-based mode like Kill Confirmed, if you see a decent amount of tags on the map or in front of you, just in your field of view, it is very likely that you will see somebody then going to confirm or deny those tags. Pre-aiming those tags is a surefire way to get more kills. Like I said, this sounds extremely basic, especially if you've been playing this game for a while. It's something that naturally comes to a lot of players once you figure out how certain game types work. But there are small things like looking at the kill feed and seeing that a player on your team just got 3 kills and you're close to the enemy spawn. So now you know that there's at least 3 players that are going to be pushing off that spawn and they don't know where you are. Using information like that to secure great position and free kills is going to be the biggest difference in your game. And I promise if you implement these 3 tips, you will see infinitely better results when you are playing Call of Duty. And that's the video, guys. There are so many more tips on how to improve at Call of Duty, and I'm definitely going to be making a part 2 to this video, going a little bit more in depth. Hopefully you guys will stick around to check that out. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe down below for more content. We are pushing out videos every single week. With the new Call of Duty dropping, we got content out of the wazoo. It's been Flip and I'm out. Thanks, yo.